Now, what Mahua Moitra does in her personal time is not of my concern. Who she hangs out with, where does she party, what gifts she receives and from whom she receives them, it's her private life, it's her private matter. So I'm not going to stoop down to the gutter level gossip sessions and salacious debates others may be over-eager to have. But my concern with Mahua Moitra is a more serious one. If the charges against her are proven in the affidavit that has been written by a businessman, she is going to be in serious trouble of breaching her parliamentary privilege. If true, she would have been misusing the position and authority the government of India and the citizens of this country have given her. She would have been misusing it for political point scoring. She would have then be accused of colluding with foreign news agencies to bring bad repute to our country only and only for the reason of political point scoring, and even then wanting to garner more votes away from a political party which is in opposition. The 5 questions that I ask of Mahua Moitra and the people and the stakeholders over here, particularly the political party that she comes from, will the TMC take action against her if this accusation was proven true? What action must be taken by the Parliament Ethics Committee? Would it be right for Mahua Moitra to lose her parliamentary privilege in the span of the time that the parliamentary committee then decides what needs to be done, the proceedings that are going to take place? And also the question, can a benefit of doubt be given to Mahua Moitra, if at all, calling it an quote-unquote innocent mistake that may have been done by a member of the parliament? And the last, more serious, important, thought-dwelling question that I want to make is, what is the line that the politicians must never cross? How low can they stoop to allow for political point scoring, to get votes, for mudslinging matches that they play out to be? And should there be dignity in the work that they provide to the people when they govern the country, their district or their constituency? Let's start off this discussion. Professor Madhav Nalapat, now there is this tamasha that is going on social media, on television news channels, in newspapers. You know, it's inherent for a human being. We as a society thrive on gossip. We as a society thrive on grapevines. That's how we are attuned to something gossipy, something masala. If an individual is gone to some party, seen in a certain way, not behaving as per quote-unquote decorum, whatever, and that's what is happening with Mahua Moitra. But what is happening, unfortunately, is that this is overshadowing the more serious concern that has been put out through this affidavit that has been released by this particular gentleman, this businessman. Why should we then allow this discourse to be stooped down to this level simply because there are some, businesses about current boyfriends and ex-boyfriends and talk about a dog and custodial battles about a dog? I mean, is this a deliberate attempt to move away from what the actual concerning matter is?
Well, I'd like to say that you're quite right in the sense that personal life and personal lifestyles, so long as they don't impact the national interest in any way, well, then that is not an issue that serious channels should be concerned about. The worry will be if, for example, Mahua Moitra is an individual with very strong opinions on a range of subjects. Now, if it is shown that some of her views were basically, if I may say so, motivated not by political interest or certainly not by the country's interest, but for commercial reasons. If it is shown, I'm not making any allegation and certainly it's not proper to make any allegations in absence of investigation. But if you are going to express a view for commercial reasons, if you are going to say something, let's say, nice or bad about any individual for commercial reasons, then I think you will have a serious problem of credibility. And if it is established that you have acted in a commercial manner in one instance, then the effect will be for practically all the statements that you made across a range of issues. So I think that is one problem that Mahua Moitra will be facing as a consequence of the affidavit of this particular businessman, if it is shown to be accurate, because then her views on a range of subjects will then be suspect, and they will ask that your view on this was motivated. Will your view on other matters also be motivated? I think that's a very important problem of credibility. And the second issue, frankly, I'm not, let me speak in general terms. It's okay that we have our political battles within India. We carry it within India. But if there is any kind of a situation in which foreign governments are contacted, in a way to get their support or to get their advice or to get their help or whatever, in political battles domestically, I think that will be crossing a red line.
Yeah.
The fact is that Indian politics should be left to the Indian people to decide and to Indian political parties. No foreign country whatsoever should be involved in that.
And that's what the accusation in the affidavit mentions, that she has allegedly colluded with these foreign news channels, media organizations, in then leaking out information which is false, which is malicious, which targets India's credibility, its integrity. I also have with me Sumitra Goenka. Sumitra, a quick comment from you in terms of what has played out. And the serious question I ask is there a line that must be drawn when it comes to politicians and members of the parliament conducting their affairs? And obviously there are fights, there are these rallies, and there are words that are exchanged, there is hate crime, hate speech that happens, denigrating another party, denigrating another leader. But is there a line that needs to be drawn? And if so, who is going to draw that line? And do you also see a comparison of politics and politics of politicians from a different era versus today? And has it only gotten worse with time?
Yeah, hi Megha. I think what we are hearing, this is for the first time that we are hearing such kind of a thing. And if this is true, I would like to just use a word here that Ms. Mahua Moitra has acted as a mercenary here to do a hit job when she is being paid by a corporate to attack another corporate continuously, because she asked out of, I think, 60 odd questions, 50 questions were targeted hit job on a particular company, namely Adani, and then, targeting Narendra Modi ji and trying to establish a nexus as if Narendra Modi has gifted all the projects to Mr. Adani and there was no formal bidding process or anything. So this is the kind of a image which she has tried to build up, and she had tried, used her, the image of a ferocious attacker kind of a image which she built in the parliament, that, she is the voice of the nation and the voice of the woman. In this way, she has just tried to use this image to do a targeted hit job like a mercenary. So I want to say first thing that parliament is a temple of democracy, and anybody who enters into the parliament takes an oath of office. It is not just another MNC job, where you just come in and start working. Even in a MNC or any company, be it even Hiranandani or Adani, there are certain code of ethics. You cannot just give your user ID and password to anybody. Even a small company will not do that. So this is, if she has done this, then this is, I don't think it is a matter of an innocent mistake, like you said. It cannot be an innocent mistake because she has also worked in her previous career in a MNC, which I believe. So she knows that, what is an email ID, what is the importance of keeping the documents confidential. Even when you sign a job, you have to, sign on dotted line that you will not share the secrets with anybody outside. And when you become a parliamentarian, how can you just do this sharing of your user ID and password? And I believe this user ID and password was used not only in India by a third party, but also outside the precincts of India. Okay. Now it is for the matter to be investigated by the authorities, the relevant cyber authorities or NIC and others who can investigate and figure out.
Fair enough. Okay, so these are the accusations that have been levied against her. in the affidavit, in the letter that has been written by Darshan Hiranandani, the businessman in question over here. Now, there has been a parliamentary committee on ethics that is going to be formed. The chairperson of the parliamentary committee on ethics has already responded on it. He said he has gotten the letter. But Himanshu, the question I ask is now, should Mahua Moitra step down from a position on moral grounds? What is it that the TMC is going to do? Should there be a wait and watch approach that needs to be applied both by Mahua Moitra and the TMC?
If she is a real parliamentarian, she should have stepped down by this time. And TMC would have told her to step down, but that has not happened. In fact, her lawyer, that is what I hear, the person who was fighting a case for her, her lawyer, has also withdrawn, if my information is correct, which generally is. So what I'm saying is, don't expect such things from the people who do these things. Those who do a job within the parliament, where you are protected by the parliament, and that's why you do it. Asking questions. Well, me and you cannot do that. If we talk something here, won't we taken for a task? We will be. It's very simple as that. Once you enter the parliament, when you take the oath, it becomes very clear that you will not do anything which is contrary to the country's interest. In political slugfest, people forget this. And when they forget this, this is what happens.
Okay.
Giving someone a ID or a password, for some favors.
But then also the question, Himanshu, do you feel that Mahua Moitra at this point of time is being targeted? She's being made a scapegoat of things. Yes, as per the accusation in the affidavit, she has allegedly given her login ID to this gentleman who has used it to pose questions against Adani group of companies, which she has picked up maximum percentage of them in the parliament, attacking the government of India. And now that Mahua Moitra coming out and counter-attacking Darshan Hiranandani, saying that he is being pressurized by the government of India to then come out with this quote-unquote concocted story, then goes on to show whether there is going to be a likelihood of TMC also supporting their member of the parliament, because TMC itself wants to now at this time hedge their bets.
Hedge their bets. I'll tell you something. Who benefited the maximum that it is an known secret in the stock market in Mumbai? Who made so much of money in India? You ask some of the CAs and they will tell you exactly what happened. And in this case, the person who has turned approver has confessed to this. Whether by force or other thing, that me and you do not know. But see, what is being told and where it stands, allegedly. She's the one who took gifts worth of crores. A parliamentarian asking questions, taking gifts, is this a moral standard? A basic question. Should,
like I said, again at this point in time, this is all conjecture. This is all accusations. There's an affidavit. There is going to be a proceeding that is going to carry it forward by the Parliamentary Committee of Ethics. So we can't at this point in time say, oh my God, she's wrong. And at this, like I said, it's not my concern what gifts Mahua Moitra gets, which parties she attends, which people she hangs out with. That's her prerogative entirely. And
no, but then she did not give you the ID, and the password.
I'm saying, like I said, until proven, she continues to be innocent, as per the rule of law. But but absolutely. But Professor Nalapat, again coming to you now, the larger question over here, when the citizens of our country, give your vote to the person to make you the representative of their own in the government of India, in the parliament, in the constituency, or in the village or the panchayat that you're fighting the election for, you have the moral responsibility as well of a collective. Now, in a situation such as this, where this speculation has arisen and these accusations are being levied against this member of the parliament, does this then cause a lot of strife amongst people, amongst citizens, saying that can we really have our faith in our politicians who act like they are representatives, but they are actually working for vote banks, actually working for political point scoring, actually working for commercial gains?
Megha, I'd like to point out that, that as far as our politics is concerned, let's be honest, there is a lot of international attention to the 2024 election. And may I point out that there are some countries who are not happy with the stand taken by this particular government on some issues. I'll give you an example of the very vigorous fight back at Galwan. I'll give you the example of the banning of apps of a particular country. I'll give you the example of basically ensuring that there is a vetting and a screening of items procured from that country that could have Trojans embedded in them. Now, obviously, that particular country, I mean, all of us know that country, it's China, would not be very happy with the government that is doing all these things. And they would be looking at what they believe would be more useful alternatives to them. Now, in such a situation, it's incumbent on a parliamentarian. Parliament is a sacred space. And it is a sacred space because Parliament represents or should represent the will of the people of India. Very definitely, it is very, very important for a parliamentarian to reach conclusions only on the basis of what he or she believes to be the national interest. He or she believes to be the need of the people and the need of the nation. And they should not represent any interest, whether it is within India in the form of commercial interest or outside in the form of hostile countries.
Fair enough.
The reality is that in a situation where a lot of attention is focused on 2024, going on a tangent and basically trying to demonize the government that's in power. Admittedly, the government has not been perfect, but the government has done many good things. And the 2024 election is a very, very important election for countries that both like India and dislike India.
Okay.
In that situation, I think parliamentarians need to understand their responsibility.
Okay. Sumitra, then, again the question, very relevant point that has been raised by Professor Nalapat, for the sake of politics and political point scoring, is this then right to ally with foreign betas? We've already seen hit jobs by NYT and BBC and Guardian and Washington Post against India, against Indian companies. There was an entire, stock market hemorrhage that happened simply because a trading agency decided to malign a company, Adani group of companies in international arena, and it had these repercussions, short-lived repercussions, but repercussions nonetheless. How do we assess? Now, again, the question, is the opposition questioning the surgical strikes that India did on Pakistan on 2 occasions? Is this akin to sabotaging India's integrity, sovereignty, questioning India's and bringing bad repute to the country? Or where do we draw the line?
See, I think we are all matured individuals, and in today's social media age, we know where to draw the line. Some lines are prescribed as per your job, or when you take an office, it's written in dotted lines like what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do, and many other things are in your moral conduct. So okay, this thing is something which you should not do. Like in this case, in the case of this MP, her private life is what led to all this accusations and affidavits and other things. So we are not interested in anybody's private life, but when it touches upon her life as an MP and when it affects national security, that is where she needs to draw the line. It is a very simple thing. It is not going to be written anywhere. Now coming to the fact that what about issues which are where the foreign entities are involved, like in this case, in the case of Hindenburg, it was a hit job which was done to affect the Indian stock market and perhaps to destabilize the economy, because Adani Group has won many contracts in key infrastructure areas which others have lost. Many like Chinese companies have also bidded and they have lost, or there are other foreign companies as well, from other nations. So this was a very planned attack to destabilize the stock market, to destabilize the economy just before the 24 elections, so that the adverse effect can be felt on the financial markets. But they could not prove anything. And we have a very resilient RBI, SEBI and other regulatory bodies. So we are going under the process, but it only shows the immaturity of the opposition parties when they just keep on shouting in the parliament or taking morchas and rallies outside without actually having any proper proof in hand. This is what is happening, and people are understanding this, and people are tired and sick of these people right now. Who are just
all right. So, fair enough. Then, Himanshu, quickly a closing comment from you now. In such a situation, if these charges were to hold true, is Mahua Moitra likely to be expelled from the parliament?
Yes.
Do you think the TMC is then going to absorb her within the party or distance itself from her? Because it's a malicious matter, it's a controversial issue.
Yes, it is a controversial issue, malicious matter, and as Sumitra said, very rightly, I have nothing to do with your personal life, but if you're an MP and your personal life, touches our country, harms it in any way, under the privilege, when you are in the house, you are a privileged member. Because you are privileged, you can talk anything in the parliament.
Yeah.
And if that is proven, I don't think TMC will also support her. They will also wash their hands off. Like a hot potato, she'll be thrown out. This is what is my gut feeling. Because nobody will commit a political suicide like this. And right now, when the central elections are coming, something, in West Bengal, BJP had won 18 seats that time. And if such a thing comes up, the BJP's number will go up. Mamta Bhi's talks will start to finish.
Fair enough. Obviously, at this point in time, political calculations will have to be made. Whether this will be a collateral damage that Mahua Moitra will be for the TMC, only time will tell. But a very important fact of the matter, the privilege that a politician, a member of the parliament gets by virtue of the people's support, people's faith in you, who have elected you as their representative, must not be tarnished the way it has been, as per what the accusation at this point in time has been made by this gentleman against the member of the parliament, Mahua Moitra. We'll keep a close track on this development that is going to take now days and weeks till the time a probe is completed and actually found out what the crux of this entire matter is, what really happened over the course of these days, over the course of these time period that has been mentioned in this controversial case.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.